Ethan Wilson stood alone in his small apartment, staring at the blank wall where his friend's picture used to hang. It had been months since his best friend Lila had moved away to another planet for a job opportunity. They had been inseparable, sharing everything from late-night talks to spontaneous adventures. Now, Ethan felt a heavy weight in his chest, an aching sadness that seemed to grow with each passing day. Lila had always been the light in his life, her laughter infectious and her spirit uplifting. Without her, the days felt long and empty. He missed their coffee runs and the way she would challenge him to think differently about the world. Ethan often found himself scrolling through old messages, reading their conversations over and over. He could still hear her voice in his mind, teasing him about his terrible cooking or cheering him on during tough times. As he sat on his couch, Ethan glanced at the holographic display on his table. It was a gift from Lila, a small gadget that projected images and videos in 3D. He picked it up, hesitating for a moment before pressing the button. A small image of them together flickered to life, capturing a moment from their last adventure on Earth. They were laughing, faces bright with joy, the sun setting behind them. But now, that memory felt bittersweet. Ethan sighed deeply, feeling the distance between them like an invisible wall. He thought about reaching out to her, but doubts flooded his mind. What if she was too busy? What if she had moved on and didn't want to hear from him? The fear of rejection held him back. Yet the longing to reconnect was stronger than his fear. He needed to try. Taking a deep breath, Ethan decided to send her a message. He opened his communicator and typed a simple note. "Hey, Lila, I miss you. How are you doing?" He stared at the screen, his heart racing. Was that too casual? Should he have said more? Just as he was about to delete it, he pressed send. The moment he did, a wave of anxiety washed over him. What if she didn't reply? What if he was just a distant memory to her now? He tried to shake those thoughts away, focusing instead on the hope that maybe, just maybe, she would be happy to hear from him. Days passed, and Ethan found himself checking his communicator constantly. He went about his daily routine, but everything felt dull without Lila's presence. He worked at his job, where he helped design new technologies, but the excitement he once felt vanished. Each time he looked up from his work, he was reminded of the empty space beside him. Then, one evening, as he was cooking dinner burning the noodles, as usual his communicator chimed. His heart leaped. It was a message from Lila. He quickly wiped his hands on a towel and opened it. "Hey, Ethan. I miss you too. Things are going well here. Work is busy, but I've met some great people. Let's catch up soon." Ethan felt a rush of joy. He could almost hear her voice in his head, full of enthusiasm. He quickly typed back, his fingers moving with excitement. "I'd love that. How about a video call tomorrow?" After sending the message, Ethan felt lighter. Just the thought of seeing Lila's face again filled him with hope. He spent the rest of the evening tidying up his apartment, making it comfortable for their call. He even tried to cook something special, determined to impress her. Despite his usual kitchen disasters. The next day, he set up the holographic display and waited eagerly for Lila to connect. When the moment finally arrived, Ethan's heart raced. The screen flickered, and then there she was, Lila, vibrant and smiling, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. "Ethan!" she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "You look great. How's everything?" "I'm okay, just trying to keep busy," he replied, grinning. Seeing her face filled him with warmth. They spent the next hour talking about everything, their daily lives, work, and the little things that made them laugh. Lila shared stories about her new friends and the strange food she had tried, while Ethan told her about his latest project at work. As they talked, Ethan realized how much he had missed her presence. The distance between them felt smaller, and he could feel their connection reigniting. But there was something else he wanted to say, something that had been on his mind since she left. "Lila, I've been thinking a lot about us," he began, his voice a bit shaky. "I know we're far apart, but I really value our friendship. I don't want to lose that." Lila smiled softly, her expression thoughtful. "I feel the same way, Ethan. I've missed you more than I can say. I thought moving away would be exciting, but it's not the same without you." The sincerity in her words brought a smile to Ethan's face. They talked about the future, about visiting each other and creating new memories. With each word, the hope that had been buried within him began to blossom again. As their call came to an end, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. "Let's make a plan to see each other soon," he suggested. "I'll come to visit, or you can come back here. We have so much to catch up on." "I'd love that," Lila replied, her eyes shining. "Let's make it happen." After they said their goodbyes, Ethan sat back, feeling a mix of relief and happiness. The distance that once felt so daunting now seemed manageable. He knew they could overcome anything together, no matter how far apart they were. Ethan realized that he had not only reconnected with Lila, but also discovered the strength of their friendship. Sometimes the greatest challenges could turn into the most beautiful opportunities. He had bought the freedom to reach out and express his feelings, and in doing so, he had set both of them free. In the end, he had started off feeling lonely and distant, but through his determination and hope, he had found a way to bridge the gap. Just like the title of his favorite story about courage and love, he had bought alien slaves to set them free only to find that they returned as his wives. In his case, he had rekindled a bond that would last a lifetime. Ethan Wilson woke up the next morning feeling lighter than he had in months. The video call with Lila had given him a spark of hope, and he was determined to keep that connection alive. As he made his morning coffee, he replayed their conversation in his mind, smiling at the way her laughter echoed in his ears. But deep down, he also felt a twinge of worry. What if they fell back into silence again? How could he hold on to this newfound connection? After finishing his coffee, Ethan decided to take action. He pulled out a notebook and began to write down ideas for how to stay in touch with Lila, even though they were light years apart. He wanted to ensure that their friendship blossomed, no matter the distance. First, he wrote down weekly messages. He envisioned sending her fun updates about his life, interesting articles, or even silly memes that reminded him of her. Next, he thought about virtual movie nights. They could watch the same films and then discuss them over video chat. Ethan chuckled at the thought of Lila teasing him about his terrible taste in movies, something she always did. As he jotted down more ideas, Ethan's phone buzzed with a notification. It was from Lila. "Good morning. I was thinking we could start our weekly messages today. What do you think?" His heart raced with excitement. She was already on board. Ethan quickly replied, "That sounds great. I have some fun stories to share." "Can't wait." He felt energized, knowing that they were both committed to keeping their friendship alive. Throughout the day, he focused on the little things that would make their messages special. He took a few pictures of his favorite spots around the city, wanting to share a piece of his world with Lila. He knew she would love seeing the park where they used to walk and talk for hours. He also planned to write about the new project at work, hoping to keep her updated on his life. As the hours passed, Ethan felt a sense of purpose. He was no longer just sitting around waiting for Lila to reach out. Instead, he was taking charge of their friendship, determined to make it work, no matter how far apart they were. When evening came, Ethan sent Lila a message with the photos he had taken. He wrote about his day, describing how the cherry blossoms were starting to bloom in the park. "I remember how you loved them," he typed, adding a smiley face. He hoped she would feel the warmth of his words, even across the distance. To his joy, Lila replied almost immediately. "These are beautiful, Ethan. I miss those cherry blossoms. Can't wait to see them again with you." Her enthusiasm made him smile even wider. As they exchanged messages, Ethan felt a sense of connection that he hadn't felt in a long time. It was as if the distance was shrinking with each word they typed. They shared funny anecdotes, and Lila sent him a video of her new friends trying to cook a traditional dish from her new home. Ethan laughed out loud, imagining the chaos in her kitchen. But amidst the laughter, Ethan also felt a pang of longing. He missed her presence, the way she would light up a room with her smile, how she could make even the dullest days seem exciting. As the night wore on, he found himself staring at the stars, thinking about how far apart they were. That's when an idea struck him. He remembered how they used to stargaze together, sharing dreams and wishes. Perhaps they could do that again, albeit virtually. He quickly sent a message to Lila. "How about we have a stargazing night? I can set up my telescope and you can find a good spot there. We can watch the stars together." Lila responded with enthusiasm. "Yes, that sounds amazing. I'll find a good spot and let you know when I'm ready." Excitement bubbled within Ethan as he prepared for their... Ethan Wilson woke up the next morning with a sense of determination. After the stargazing night with Lila, he felt a renewed hope. Their bond had grown stronger, and he wanted to keep that momentum going. He knew that maintaining their friendship would take effort, but he was ready to do whatever it took. As he made breakfast, Ethan thought about all the things he could do to stay connected with Lila. He remembered how they used to write stories together when they were younger, letting their imaginations run wild. Inspired, he decided to start a writing project with her, a story they could create together, even from a distance. This would not only bring them closer, it would also be a fun way to share their thoughts and ideas. After breakfast, Ethan grabbed his notebook and began to outline a story idea. He wanted it to be something adventurous, a tale of two heroes exploring the galaxy. He envisioned characters that mirrored their friendship, facing challenges and discovering new worlds together. With excitement, he wrote down the first few lines. In a distant galaxy, two brave souls set out on a journey to save their planet from darkness. Feeling inspired, he sent Lila a message. "Hey, I have an idea for a story we could write together. Want to be co-authors?" He held his breath, hoping she would love the idea as much as he did. Within minutes, Lila replied, "That sounds amazing. I'm in. Let's make it epic." Ethan felt a surge of joy. This was the perfect way to keep their connection alive and share their creativity. Throughout the day, Ethan worked on the story, sending snippets to Lila for her feedback. He would write a paragraph, then wait eagerly for her response. They laughed as they created wild plot twists and quirky characters, drawing inspiration from their favorite movies and books. With each exchange, Ethan felt their distance shrinking. But as the days turned into weeks, Ethan still felt moments of sadness. Sometimes, when he would see a beautiful sunset or hear a song that reminded him of Lila, a wave of longing would hit him. He missed her laughter and the comfort of her presence. It was during one of these moments that he realized he needed to do more than just write. He wanted to create experiences they could share. One evening, while brainstorming ideas, he had a breakthrough. What if we set up a virtual game night? He thought. They used to love playing games together, and this could be a great way to have fun while being apart. He quickly typed out his idea and sent it to Lila. "Let's have a virtual game night. We can play our favorite games and even invite some of our old friends to join us." Layla replied almost immediately, her excitement palpable through the screen. "Yes, that sounds like so much fun. I can't wait." Ethan spent the next few days organizing the game night. He reached out to their mutual friends, setting up a video call and making sure everyone was on board. He even created a fun invitation graphic, complete with colorful designs and playful fonts, to send out. The thought of seeing everyone together again filled him with excitement. Finally, the day of the game night arrived. Ethan set up his living room, making it cozy with snacks and drinks. He logged onto the video call early, nervous but hopeful. When the clock struck the hour, friends began to join one by one. Lila appeared on screen, her face lighting up the moment she saw him. "Ethan, you did such a great job with this," she exclaimed, looking around at the setup. "Thanks. I wanted it to be special," he replied, feeling a warmth spread through him. It was wonderful to see her again, even if it was through a screen dot. As more friends joined, laughter filled the virtual room. They played games, shared stories, and reminisced about old times. Ethan felt a sense of belonging that he had missed for so long. For a few hours, the distance melted away, and it felt as if they were all together in the same place. During a break between games, Ethan took a moment to address everyone. "I just want to say how much you all mean to me. I know we're far apart, but these moments remind me that our friendship is strong. I really appreciate you all for being here." His words were met with cheers and smiles. Layla nodded, her eyes shining with support. "We're all in this together, Ethan. No matter the distance, we'll always find a way to connect." The rest of the night was filled with joy. They played games, told funny stories, and even shared their dreams for the future. Ethan felt a sense of hope blooming inside him, knowing that their friendships would endure. As the night came to an end, Ethan felt fulfilled. He had taken the initiative to reconnect with Lila and their friends, proving that distance could not diminish their bond. He realized that with a little creativity and determination, he could keep their connections alive, no matter where they were in the universe. In the days that followed, Ethan and Lila continued to write their story together, sharing ideas and building their characters. They also planned more virtual game nights, ensuring that their friends felt included. Each interaction brought them closer, and he felt a sense of accomplishment. One afternoon, as he sat in the park watching the cherry blossoms bloom, Ethan reflected on how far he had come. He had turned his feelings of distance and loneliness into a source of strength and creativity. He no longer felt sad about Lila moving away. Instead, he embraced the challenge and found new ways to connect. Ethan understood that love and friendship could thrive even across galaxies. Just like in the story he was writing, he had transformed his sadness into action. He had fought for his friendships, proving that true connections could withstand any distance. In the end, he realized that he had not only bought the freedom to reach out to Lila, but had also set himself free from the weight of loneliness. He had become the hero of his own story, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that he had the support of those he cared about. Just like the tale he cherished, where he bought alien slaves to set them free, Ethan had taken the initiative to break down barriers and build a future filled with hope, love, and endless adventures. Ethan Wilson woke up feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. The virtual game nights with Lila and their friends had become a regular part of his week, but today was different. Today, he had decided to visit Lila on her new planet, a thrilling idea that both scared and excited him. He had been planning this trip for weeks, thinking about how wonderful it would be to see her in person again. As he prepared for the journey, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling of nervousness. What if things had changed too much? What if their friendship didn't feel the same in person? He shook his head, trying to push those thoughts away. "I need to be brave," he told himself. "This is going to be amazing." He packed his bags carefully, bringing along a few small gifts for Lila. He had picked out a beautiful necklace and a book they had both loved when they were younger. He wanted to show her that even though they were apart, he still thought of her every day. After a final check of his belongings, Ethan boarded his ship, the Starbound. The ship was sleek and fast, designed for interstellar travel. As he took off, he felt a rush of excitement. The stars sparkled outside his window, and he couldn't help but smile. He was finally going to see Lila. The journey was smooth, and soon Ethan was approaching Lila's new planet, Orlis. It was a vibrant world, filled with lush forests and shimmering lakes. As he landed, he took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. He couldn't believe he was finally here. Ethan stepped out of the ship, feeling the warm breeze against his face. He could see the colorful trees swaying gently and hear the sounds of birds singing. It was beautiful, but nothing compared to the excitement of seeing Lila again. He quickly made his way to the small town where she lived. As he walked through the streets, he spotted familiar places from the pictures she had sent him. He remembered her descriptions of the local cafes and parks. Each step brought back memories of their time together, and he felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him. Finally, he reached Lila's apartment building. He took a moment to gather his thoughts, then pressed the buzzer. His heart raced as he waited. What would she say? Would she be as excited to see him as he was to see her? After a moment, the door swung open, and there stood Lila, her face lighting up like a sunrise. "Ethan!" she exclaimed, rushing forward to embrace him. The warmth of her hug felt like home. "I can't believe you're here," she said, stepping back to look at him. "You made it." "I wouldn't miss it for the world," Ethan replied, grinning from ear to ear. They spent the first few hours catching up, sharing stories about their lives since they last saw each other. Lila led Ethan through the town, showing him her favorite spots. They visited a local cafe where she introduced him to a delicious pastry called a star cake. They laughed as they reminisced about their virtual game nights, recalling the silly moments that had brought them closer. But as the day wore on, Ethan couldn't shake a feeling of uncertainty. Although everything felt familiar, he noticed small changes in Lila. She had made new friends, and her life here seemed vibrant and full. Ethan felt happy for her, but a part of him worried that he might be an outsider in this new chapter of her life. Later that evening, they walked to the park, where the cherry blossoms bloomed. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden light over everything. They found a quiet spot under a tree and sat down, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere. Ethan Wilson sat on the balcony of Lila's apartment, watching the sun rise over the beautiful landscape of Orlis. The golden light spilled across the trees, making the leaves shimmer like jewels. He took a deep breath, feeling grateful for the time he had spent here. But as the sun rose higher, a sense of sadness crept into his heart. He had only a few days left before he had to return to Earth, and he felt the weight of that reality pressing down on him. He glanced over at Lila, who was still sleeping inside. The past few days had been a whirlwind of laughter and adventure. They had explored every corner of her new world together, from the serene lakes to the bustling markets. But now, the thought of leaving made him feel uneasy. He didn't want their time together to end. Ethan picked up his communicator and scrolled through the messages he had exchanged with Lila over the weeks. Their conversations had kept him connected during the time they were apart, but now he wanted something more. He wanted to ensure that their friendship would survive his return to Earth. He needed to find a way to keep their bond strong. Even when he was far away. As Lila stirred awake, Ethan's thoughts turned into a plan. "I have to tell her how I feel," he thought. "I need to express what this friendship means to me." "Good morning," Lila called out, her voice bright and cheerful. She stepped outside, stretching and yawning. The sight of her smile made Ethan's heart flutter. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" he asked, trying to hide the nervousness in his voice. "Like a baby." "I can't believe how beautiful it is here," Lila replied, looking out at the view. "I'm so glad you're here with me." Ethan felt a rush of warmth at her words. They shared breakfast together, enjoying the delicious food Lila had prepared. As they ate, Ethan thought about how to bring up his feelings. He wanted to express how much their friendship meant to him and to ensure that they would stay connected. After breakfast, they decided to take a walk to the Cherry Blossom Park, one of Lila's favorite spots. The trees were in full bloom there, pink petals dancing in the gentle breeze. As they strolled beneath the branches, Ethan felt the moment was perfect. "Lila," he began, stopping to admire the blossoms, "I want to talk about something important." Lila turned to him, her expression curious. "What's on your mind?" "I've been thinking a lot about our friendship," Ethan said, feeling his heart race. "These past few days have been amazing, but I'm also really worried about what happens when I go back to Earth. I don't want to lose what we have." Lila looked thoughtful. "I understand, Ethan. It's hard being apart, but we've already shown that we can stay connected. We have our messages, our games, and now this trip. Why don't we keep planning visits? I'd love to see you on Earth, too." Ethan nodded, feeling hopeful. "I want that, too. But I want to make sure we don't let distance change how close we are. You're my best friend, and I don't want to just be a memory." Lila smiled, her eyes shining. "You won't be just a memory. You're family to me. We can do video calls, write stories together, and even plan adventures on both our planets. We just have to be committed to it." Her words lifted Ethan's spirit. "You're right. We can make this work. I just need to find ways to remind you that you're always in my heart." "Exactly," Lila said, her enthusiasm infectious. "Let's create a friendship plan. We can set goals for how often we visit each other and what kinds of things we'll do together. We can even send each other little gifts and surprises to keep the spark alive." Ethan felt a wave of relief wash over him. They were both committed to making their friendship work, and that made all the difference. "I love that idea. Let's keep the adventure going, no matter the distance." They spent the rest of the day discussing their plans, filled with excitement about future visits and adventures. They even made a list of things they wanted to do together, from hiking in the forests of Orcs to exploring the city sights on Earth. Each idea brought them closer, fueling their hope for the future. As they walked back to the apartment, Ethan felt lighter. The fear that had been weighing on him was replaced with joy and determination. He knew that no matter where they were in the universe, their friendship would endure. Later that evening, they sat outside under the starlit sky, just as they had done during Ethan's first night in Orlis. The stars twinkled above them, and the cool breeze felt refreshing. Lila turned to Ethan, her expression earnest. "You know, you've always been there for me, Ethan. I can't imagine my life without you in it. You give me courage." Ethan felt his heart swell with pride. "And you inspire me every day, Lila. You've shown me that distance doesn't have to break us apart. I've learned that being brave means taking risks, like coming here to see you." Lila smiled brightly, her face illuminated by the stars. "Let's keep taking those risks together. Life is too short to let distance keep us apart." As they talked late into the night, Ethan felt a sense of peace. He realized that their friendship was a beautiful journey, one that would continue to grow no matter the distance. They were both committed to making it work, and that gave him hope. The next morning arrived too quickly for Ethan, and as he packed his bags, he felt a mix of emotions. He was sad to leave Orlis, but he was also excited about the future. He had a plan, and he knew that Lila would always be a part of his life. As he said goodbye, Lila hugged him tightly. "This isn't the end, Ethan. It's just the beginning of a new chapter." "I know," he replied, his heart full. "I'll be back, and we'll keep our friendship strong. I promise." With one last wave, Ethan boarded his ship and took off into the stars. As he flew away from Orlis, he looked back at the vibrant planet, knowing that he would return. Their friendship was a connection that distance could never sever. As he navigated through space, Ethan felt a sense of purpose. He had learned that love and friendship could conquer any challenge. Just like in the story he cherished, where he bought alien slaves to set them free, he had taken the initiative to set himself free from fear and loneliness. Now, with hope in his heart and Lila by his side, no matter the distance, he was ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited him. Their journey together was just beginning, and he couldn't wait to see where it would lead. Ethan Wilson settled back into his routine on Earth, but the absence of Lila lingered in the corners of his heart. After their wonderful time together on Orlis, he felt more hopeful than ever, yet he struggled with the distance that now separated them again. The memories of their adventures played in his mind like a favorite movie, but he also felt a growing emptiness without her laughter and companionship. Every day, Ethan made it a point to connect with Lila. He sent her messages, sharing little updates about his life and asking about hers. They continued to write their story together, each adding new chapters and characters, but there was still something missing. Ethan wanted more than just words on a screen. He wanted to feel her presence again. One evening, while sitting in his cozy living room, Ethan had an idea. He remembered how they had talked about creating experiences that would keep their friendship alive. What if he planned a surprise visit to Orlis? He could show Lila how much she meant to him and make new memories together. The thought excited him, but it also made him nervous. What if she was busy with her new life? What if she didn't want to see him again? Despite his doubts, Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had to take the leap. He quickly began to make arrangements, booking a ticket to Orlis, and planning everything down to the smallest details. He wanted the visit to be special, something that would remind Lila how important she was to him. As the days passed, Ethan's excitement grew. He packed a bag with gifts for Lila, including a collection of her favorite snacks from Earth and a small photo album filled with pictures of their adventures. He hoped these would remind her of the bond they shared. Finally, the day of his trip arrived. Ethan boarded the Starbound, his heart racing with anticipation. The ship hummed softly as it prepared for takeoff, and he couldn't help but smile at the thought of seeing Lila again. He imagined her face lighting up when she saw him, and that image filled him with joy. The journey to Orlis felt like an eternity. But when he finally landed, Ethan felt a rush of excitement. The vibrant colors of the planet welcomed him, and he could hardly contain his enthusiasm. He quickly made his way to Lila's apartment, his heart pounding in his chest. As he approached her building, he took a deep breath to calm his nerves. He pressed the buzzer, waiting anxiously for her to answer. Moments later, the door swung open, and there stood Lila, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" she exclaimed, her face breaking into a huge smile. "I couldn't stay away any longer," Ethan replied, stepping inside to embrace her. The warmth of her hug felt like coming home. Lila pulled back, still looking surprised. "This is amazing. I can't believe you're here." "I wanted to surprise you," Ethan said, grinning. "I missed you too much, and I thought it was time for another adventure." They spent the day exploring Orlis, revisiting their favorite spots and discovering new ones. They laughed as they wandered through the cherry blossom park, just like before. This time, Ethan felt a sense of completion, as if everything was right in the universe. As they walked,